Okay, we have a quite packed agenda ahead of us. So as people are still coming in, we are going to take a look at the agenda that we have for today. So we're going to start with some housekeeping rules coming right up. Then we're going to go to a general introduction given by our colleague from GLIS, Cyrielle Delvan. Then we're going to go a little bit deeper into the introduction to the call itself, about onboarding, about the eligibility criteria, about application process, and then we're going to also hear that from our colleague Françoise Meyer from Mercator Ocean International, and then we're also going to discuss a bit deeper into technical considerations and requirements by Mathis Bertrand, also from Mercator Ocean International. We will then have a Q&A session, and we're going to wrap up with some additional exciting information. Exciting hope for everyone. So, okay. And the housekeeping rules, just please, if you can update your Zoom display name with your name and EU project. This will allow us to see some information in the background. This webinar is recorded, and we're going to make it public. So so most of you will not be able to open your camera or speak, but still, if for any reason you might need to ask a question live, please keep your video off if you do not want to be recorded. In addition, any questions that you will have during the course of this webinar, please use the chat function to ask your questions. We're going to be monitoring it. If for any reason the speakers feel that your question needs to be answered immediately, we will do so. But in principle, we're going to wait for the Q&A session to answer to all the questions together, so everyone can benefit from the answers. Okay, I am now going to pass on to Cyrielle Delven to start with her presentation. Welcome, Cyrielle. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Angeliki. So welcome everyone. It's an honor to be here and to be with you today. So I'm Cyrielle Delven. I work for the Flanders Marine Institute in Belgium. And I guess you've all heard about EDITO if you're here today. But in case you're still wondering what EDITO is about, or if you have some questions, I'll just start with a quick introduction to the infrastructure and what EDITO stands for. All of these details are very important to know. And then I'll leave the floor to Françoise, who will give you more information about the course. So EDITO stands for European Digital Twin Ocean. It's an infrastructure platform, and our goal is to make the ocean knowledge available to all. So to all, it means decision makers, researchers, innovators, citizens, and we want everyone to have the same access to accurate knowledge about the ocean. So accurate information, data that we can trust, and models or applications that we can all understand. So as you can see in this visual, that I like very much because it can help to better understand what EDITO is about. You can see that there's two main data lakes that come into this infrastructure. These two data lakes are Copernicus Marine Service and EMONET. So they provide different types of data, and this all feeds into this big globe that you see in the visual. But it's not only based on these two already existing European infrastructure or platforms. We also take in some other data that until now hasn't been available, or that's still locked in someone's computer, or that's somewhere we don't really know how to use it. The goal is really to bring it all together and make it available through this globe, through this platform, so that we can all access it. And if we put it all together, then we can actually understand the ocean and take the right actions, the right decisions to protect it. So the globe here shows how we can understand it, because the data is put in a way that's very visual, that's easy to understand. So either if you're a researcher, I don't know who I'm talking to today, but I guess there's probably a few researchers, then you can help us to put this data there, depending on your expertise, let's say. And if you're a citizen or an aquaculture manager or maybe even a decision makers, well, you can understand the data that we have until now and the information we have on the ocean. And that's also thanks to very good models and AI, and that's where you can see on the engine part of EDITO. You might wonder, how did it all start? How did you come up with this concept? Well, it's in early February 2022 that the European Commission announced that they wanted to create this new public service, the European Digital Twin Ocean. And once this idea was launched, the project started in October 2022. And actually, it started with two different initiatives that were both called EDITO. So we had EDITO Model Lab and EDITO Infra, where EDITO Infra focused on the infrastructure itself, and also to monitor and add existing European ocean observation and data infrastructure into one single framework, where EDITO Model Lab delivered next generation ocean numerical models, but also focus application and what if scenarios to be all integrated into the same European digital twin ocean. Both of these initiatives came together, and since March 2025, the EDITO infrastructure is running, and obviously it's still being created, and that's why we're inviting you to this webinar today, because we want to co-create it with you. And our goal is by 2030 to have a fully operational service that can serve as a global benchmark for digital ocean solutions. And very important to mention, we also have a lot of beta testers. So these are projects and networks that are already testing the environment and co-creating it with us. When I say with us, we're three main companies, how do you say, and NGOs behind this platform. So it's Mercator Ocean International, Seascape Belgium, and the Flanders Marine Institute, and we're working together to make this available to you, but we also need all of the current European projects to help us in this initiative. So our goal from 2025, yes?
I was just going to, sorry to interrupt you, to say that the slides were not moving, but they're moving now. Okay.
Thank you.
Apologies.
Our goal from 2025 to 2028 is obviously to build this platform together. How are we going to do that? Well, first, we have to scale up the current capabilities of EDITO. So we want more quality data, more models, more computing resources, and on-demand processing and services. These are things we're working on right now. So actually, since 2025, it's already been increasing and improved quite a lot. And also a very important aspect for us is a thriving EDITO community. We know that such a big infrastructure, it cannot exist if everyone doesn't work together to make it happen. So through this community, we want to onboard new data, scenarios, twins, and applications. But how are we going to do this? That's a bit the question. I guess that's exactly why you're wondering if you're here. Well, we are offering funding opportunities through three calls around during the whole scope of the project. I'll give some more information after, but we'll also provide training and user supports, community building events. So community building events can be webinars, hackathons, and some other opportunities as well. But during the course of this webinar, we'll give more information about how you can be part of this community. But what can you do with EDITO? I already said a little bit about it, but maybe if we divide it in three different sections, it might be easier to understand. So with EDITO, you can explore the data to better understand the ocean. So it can be for anyone. Anyone can explore the data already. If you go into the EDITO platform, you can play around with this globe and put the data, better understand the currents, better understand some species migration. Everything's possible. But we also invite you to create and build digital twins and applications. So develop your own application, develop what-if scenarios, to understand the trade-offs. So this might be for experts or people that know a little bit about how to create stuff on digital platforms. Also contribute to transform your knowledge into action. So you can add your data and services to EDITO to really increase your reach and collaborate with other people. That's what we are offering right now with EDITO. But I'll go back to the co-development via community building. So to create this community, we thought it might be a good idea to offer some money, some funding to give you the opportunity to actually really put your models, put your data or applications on EDITO, because we know it's a lot of effort. We've been through it ourselves. So we are launching the first call now in January. Françoise will give you much more information about that, but I'll just give you the overview of how it will look until 2028. We'll launch a second call in autumn 2026, and then a third one in 2027. We announced the first call during the Digital Ocean Forum that happened last year in November. And then between the two calls, we'll organize some webinars and also trainings for the projects that get granted, so we can really explain you how to onboard, why you want to onboard. And then we'll have some more events, so hackathon, other DOFs. So DOFs is the Digital Ocean Forums, where we'll engage with all the projects and grow the impact of what you've created in the platform. Another way also to engage with you is through synergies and collaborations. We also have some international collaborations, and we want to align with the Ocean Decades. So these are all different ways that we will build this community all together. So EDITO, it's open. You can use it today. You can go in the platform and see what you can achieve. So if you don't have an account yet, feel free to dive in and understand better how it really works, because I think that's the best way to really understand EDITO. So yes, thank you very much for listening, and please let me know if you have any questions. I could talk about it for hours, so I'll stop now, but thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Cyrielle. Okay, we are going to now pass to Françoise Meyer. Hi, Françoise. Thank you also. Let's start with your presentation.
Hello, everyone. Hello. So thank you, Angelique. Thank you, Cyrielle. I think it's great to see so many of you here. Some I've already met talking about your project. It's great to be able to talk about a bit more about this grant that a lot of you are really eager to know about. So as Cyrielle has given you some insight into EDITO, now focused on the financial support for third parties that you can get through this call for EDITO. So as Cyrielle mentioned already, there will be 3 calls that will be launched throughout the whole time of this second phase of EDITO until 2028. And all these calls are interconnected and share the same overall objective to scale up the European Digital Twin Ocean and support the EU Mission Ocean outcomes. These grants are really about supporting the co-development of EDITO with the community and for the community, allowing the teams to contribute data, models, and application that strengthen the EDITO platform. So the aim is really to serve all communities that you see here on the slide that are identified from Copernicus Marine under the blue markets. So be it from climate change adaptation to ocean health or renewable energies, for example. We really want to support all communities and share everybody's effort. And in this effort, the calls are here to strengthen the digital twin ocean infrastructure, and to enhance the collaborative development within the EDITO ecosystem by integrating different applications and fostering innovation through user-driven solutions. Next, please. So. Get into it from a funnel approach. First of all, here's an overview information of all the calls. So there's a 2 million budget throughout the 3 goals. They'll be spread out between now and 2028, which means that if your project is not ready now to apply for this first goal, you will get another couple other chances to onboard with a financial support. For your information, in terms of funding, the maximum amount per project is 500,000 euros. This is a ceiling, not a target, because the funding depends on the scope, the maturity, and the integration efforts needed. And if you think throughout all the calls that there are a lot of projects that will be applying, this is really for your information. So the first call will be 10 months, while the other 2 will be a bit longer. They'll be 12 months, and I will explain a little bit why. We have some key targeted themes that have been highlighted, such as challenges in coastal management, marine biodiversity monitoring, and climate-related scenarios. Although these are not restrictive, so it means that if your project is addressing another topic, do not hesitate to apply. This is just some highlighted themes, but yes, we really welcome all topics to be answered. So to build with the EDITO community, we're primarily looking at onboarding data, local models, innovative solutions, and what-if scenarios. And these are particularly relevant to support policy needs for the implementation of key EU directives, such as the MSFD, Common Fisheries Policy, MPA regulations and protection, marine renewable energies, and some human activity impact assessment for fisheries and aquaculture, for example. But diving in more detail into this first goal, why you're here today. Next, please. Yes, so as I mentioned, this first goal will be a little bit shorter. It'll be 10 months. And one of the reasons is that we're looking for state-of-the-art, mature, ready to onboard applications or models and data sets. That means that the effort must be primarily to onboard into EDITO with fewer focus on the development of the model of the application itself. For this first goal, we're expecting up to 15 projects with a total budget of 600,000 euros. Throughout the call, the project will get technical support for onboarding and participation in various EDITO community events, such as the next upcoming Digital Ocean Forum. Next, please. And talking about the timeline for this first call. So we're launching the call very, very soon because the launch will be tomorrow at the end of January. So you will have 2 months to prepare the proposals up until the end of March for a evaluation period from our jury that will start in April, all up until May. And at the end of May, you will get the results. The selected project will be able to start in the beginning of June. And so we will have the project going on for 10 months with recurrent reporting, participation to events, as I said, through the end of the project in March 2027. Next, please. And so throughout the project, the activities that we are expecting from you are obviously the integration of your solution, whether it's an application, a model, or a data set that you want to share. And this means that you're ensuring that your solution is compatible with EDITO architecture, technical standards, and workflows. And the first goal, the focus of this goal is not to build something from scratch once again, but adapting your solution to work smoothly within EDITO. So during the project, the teams are expected to adapt, refine, and test their digital resources. This include testing, but non-restrictive to using the computational power of EDITO, the cloud resources, data pipelines, and other modeling tools. And projects are expected to deliver open and reusable technical components, as we are here to share everybody's work. So this includes your API, if you have a graphical interface, connectors, metadata services, and so on. And these components are really to support the long-term evolution and the scalability of EDITO. Up until the end of the project and further on. Another important activity will be to develop documentation for users. Each project must provide a self-contained, user-oriented documentation that will be shared in the EDITO Data Lab. And this will be a clear step-by-step instruction form that allows user to reproduce and operate the model or the application. But for this, the grant recipient will receive guidance during the project. And finally, as I mentioned before, the project require continuous reporting up until a final report at the end. So this means that your proposal must be clear, well-structured, with an clear implementation plan to describe the plan activities, the timeline, the project organization, the risk mitigation measures. Yes, next, please. So now we're going to dive into the eligibility criteria to know who can apply to this goal. So these are some legal requirements. And the first one being that you must be a legal entity to apply. This includes universities, research institutions, NGOs, public authorities, and so on. And you must be established in a EU member states or in a Horizon Europe associated country. And for this, you will get the link to the list of associated countries in the grant text. But this is already available online, as you will be recipient of a part of a Horizon Europe grant. You must be within a country that is allowed to receive this grant. But this is important. You must know that it doesn't mean that if your institution is within a European country, you can have your research focused on a non-European geographical area. And this is as long as it brings added value to the EDITO platform. Then there are some legal requirements that I will not go too much in detail here, but you will have all the detail in the call to follow some EU restrictive measures. And finally, the applicants can be either individual entities or consortia, as are also accepted, as long as you have, of course, a coordinating organization. And next, please. And so, talking about some restriction, there is a clear no double funding criterion. And this is if your project is already under Horizon Europe grant, you must pay attention to see if in your grant agreement it's not already planned that you contractually need to onboard onto EDITO. That means that projects that are under Horizon Europe grant will need to provide a formal declaration of no double funding. But also your project should demonstrate a difference from any existing Horizon Europe funded work because we're really looking for real added value for the EDITO ecosystem. And so the key takeaway here is that before applying, please make sure that your organization is eligible compliant, and that the proposed activities are clearly distinct from any existing Horizon Europe commitments. Then now navigate into some requirements, some technical requirement to consider. So the solution should be mature enough for integration or close to being ready to be onboarded with minimal development for this first call, that is. So if your project needs further development, you might be considering the two following calls, as I mentioned. We will be looking at of course, the content of the solution, so that it follows substantial scientific and technical content with qualified data, proven models, analytical products, and validated methods, as we're really building on a strong scientific community. Also, there is a rights and permission restriction that you obviously need to be able to work with the data or the algorithm that you're working with, and that you're working under an open license. Now, we know that for some of you, there might be some needs to have a community, a special community focus for your application, your models, and you might not be ready now to share your work under an open license. So we primarily look for open methods and content, but if you need it for a specific community and then you need to work within the community and not share externally, this is something that we are open to anyway, as we want to serve all communities and we understand that you have different needs. So when you will do your application, this is just something that you need to clarify. What are the needs and why you cannot operate under an open license. You also will need to comply to GDPR rules, Horizon Europe ethics requirements, and rules on transparency and need to be free of any conflict of interest. And a final requirement that we have is that the solution that you propose must be supported until at least the end of the EDITO 2 project, which is August 2028. And now I will move on to the application process. Thank you. So first looking at how the jury will be evaluating your proposals. There's the first criterion that we're going to look at, which is excellence. We will assess that the scientific and technical quality of the proposal, the level of innovation, and how relevant your solution is in addressing key ocean and coastal challenges. And that means that the proposal should clearly show that they respond to identified needs within the scientific, institutional, or technical communities. Then there's an impact criterion. Here we want to look at how the project contributes to EU and national policies and strategies, and this is its societal and environment values. So project must demonstrate how the solution answers real user needs and how it contributes to some key EU priorities, such as the mission Restore Our Ocean and Waters by 2030, the European Green Deal, the Marine Strategy Framework Directive, for example, to only name a few. Then we have an interoperability criterion, as application must follow technical standards that promote interoperability, so they can effectively connect with other services, data, and tools within the EDITO ecosystem. There will be also a criterion of implementation, and it's about the quality and feasibility of your work plan. I will look at are the activities realistic, are risks identified and managed, and are the resources appropriated for your solution. So the proposals should also include a clear plan for providing guidance to users of the application models. Then there will be a new criterion, next criterion of usability, so that evaluators will look at how the solution contributes to the overall usability and development within EDITO. There will also be a criterion looking at how you engage with you created your solution, thinking of stakeholder engagement, so that you can prove that your approach has been built with a co-design approach in mind to answer stakeholder needs. Then there's an added value to EDITO, as I mentioned before. The added value can be that you are bringing a new use case within the environment, a relevant local model, or an enriched data set. And finally, there's a criterion to build with EDITO resources so that your application is required to not only be hosted on the platform, but truly use the available resources of EDITO. So the computational power, storage, cloud computing. And so these are the criterion that you need to think about when you create your proposal. And once you want to apply, thank you. You can go to the next one. You will be submitted your application through an official application form. And this is structured with predefined questions that you can answer to give more detail about your project. So all mandatory fields must be completed. You can add the supportive documents for your project. And the main recommendation here is to be as clear and explicit as possible in your answers. So what we're going to be looking at is what the solution is, how mature it is, why EDITO is the right platform to be implemented in, and what added value it can bring. So you will, as you can see, the different categories that you will need to fill in. Once you have a complete application form, the submission is quite straightforward. Next, please. You can navigate through the EDITO webpage. There will be a dedicated page to submit your application. And just so you are aware, when you will be joining through EDITO and clicking on the apply now, you will get to a page hosted by Mercator Ocean. Next slide, please. Where the application will be fully submitted. Just so you're aware, all the application must be submitted through this portal, and only these will be considered. And finally, once you've submitted your application, next slide, please. After the evaluation period by our jury, we will notify all participants whether the answer is positive or not at this stage. And the successful applicants will be supported in finalizing their grant agreement to be onboarded. And they will get support in preparing the project launch and technical support throughout the implementation. And that is it for me. And I will move on, give the floor to my colleague Mathis to give you more information on the technical consideration and requirement to onboard.
Thank you, Françoise.
Thank you, Françoise. Yes, in fact, I'm going to talk to you about the technical consideration and requirements to onboard on EDITO. So this is a set of good practices that you should follow to ease the integration of your contribution onto EDITO. So first of all, I'm going to talk about containerization. So in a cloud environment, it's a very important concept to build a container image for your application or computation. It allows to work in a reproducible, scalable, and isolated environment. So the first most important concept about containerization, next slide please, is dependencies management. And next slide please. Thank you. It's very important to declare all your dependencies explicitly to have a real containerized image. So depending on your type of application, it can be through a requirement.txt, package.json, environment.yaml file. But yeah, this is a very important step. Then next slide, please. There are environment variables. So for your application, all parameters required to run your application or model process must be externally configurable via environment variable. So for example, it can be some input configuration for defining time or geographical extent, type of processing and output folders. And most importantly, credentials. You must not hard code credentials or tokens or anything that must be secured inside of your container image. We have a mechanism in EDITO to ease the injection of credential inside your application. So we have automatic mechanism. So everything needs to be configurable outside. Next slide, please. Also, some consideration regarding how you package your application. First of all, try to build light container images. So for that, you need to choose the right base image and don't embark unnecessary data. Prefer to download the data at the start of your application or process at runtime, and not embark it in an image. And also be careful about your dependencies. Don't install everything like a million package. You can just choose what's important and necessary to run your application. Also, try to be a bit careful about the resources, the computing resources that your application or computation will use, because in EDITO, we give each user default quotas that are written here. So a given amount of memory, CPUs, and storage without GPU. So if you want your application or computation to be used by the most number of people on EDITO, try to fit into those quotas. Of course, if for some reason you need more than that and your application you can do otherwise, you can exceed those quota, but try to be careful with that. Next slide, please. And finally, we have, if you are stuck on, or if you have any question or if you want to have an overview of how things work, you can check out our documentation at docs.dive.edito.eu. This is also accessible directly. If you go on edito.eu, you will find all the links that you will need for that. And also our support team that is very reactive and that will allow to guide you and support you if you face any issue or any question. And that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mathis, for the presentation. Thank you also to Françoise and Cyrielle. It's all super useful information. We really hope that so far this is information that is going to help you about your applications and deciding what it is that you can do with EDITO and this call. Helen, if you could write your question in the chat, we're going to take it up soon. Now that you found out all this information on this first EDITO call for funding, we would like to get some information from you as well. So we're going to really launch very quickly into 3 Slido questions that are going to help us with gathering some information that we can also use to see our stakeholders today. So if you can get your phones ready, let's see, we're going to start. So here is our first question. Please scan the QR code, or if you want, you can use the hashtag number to join the Slido. We're going to stay on this page for a couple of minutes, and so we would like to know if you're planning on onboarding data sets, models, or applications. Okay. Great. Okay. Applications are quite prominent, I believe. Okay. So now moving on to the next question, we would like to know which project you might be representing. So if you can put that in, that would be great. Also, if you are from an organization, you also feel free, please, to enter it here. Great, we have okay. That's very good to see. Okay, we still have some answers coming in, so we'll give it a few more seconds. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And to our last question before we go into our Q&A, we would like you, in a few words, if you could, to describe your project. Great. All of this information is going to help us inform also. It will help us a little bit with next presentations and plans that we're making for the community. So it really is very useful. I know it's a little bit hard to describe any project with a few words. All right. Well, we have all the important topics. Mhm. All right. We'll wait for a moment to allow for the final participants who are still typing to provide their input. I love the shrimp or prawn. Very nice. All right. Mhm. Okay. Thank you very much. So we have a final question, and it has to do with your familiarity with cloud computing. We'd like to see how many of you are familiar with it. Okay, or not at all, or Mm-hmm. This question is also very closely connected to the technical support that our colleagues are going to be providing, and it will again really help us inform the processes that we are building. All right, so a big percent, 73% is somewhat familiar with cloud computing, which is very good, and we do not have any audience that is not at all familiar. This is very nice. Thank you so much for the answers. And it's really great to see so many of you here with us. We are going to take a look now at questions that you might have. Well, actually, I'm going to start perhaps with a question we have from Joanna Bella from Liz and EMOPNet Biology, and I know also from various projects. Can you clarify what type of data sets should be considered? Is that something that, I don't know, Matisse or Françoise, which one of you would like to take this on? I will read the whole question. Can you clarify what type of data sets should be considered? I assume that any that are fit for EMOPNet should not be eligible. So
I'm not sure about that on my side. I don't know if...
Yes, I can take this one. For the type of data that you will be proposing, I mean, obviously you have to look at the available data already on EDITO to make sure that it's not a duplication. It really needs to be adding value to the catalog. But in this particular case, where you're already working for data that will be fit for EMOPNet, I would advise to go through EMOPNet. And in that case, yes, you're not eligible for this grant.
okay, very clear. Thank you. Thank you. So on to another question from Antonin. Is subcontractor allowed particularly for the informatical support, or is support by editor or Mercator on the technical part and computer code possible?
I think I can take the first part of this question. Once you get the grant, you can have subcontracting to support your activity, and this needs to be really well detailed in your application, in your proposal. But I'm not sure I understand the second part of your question. I mean, there is support for implementation from EDITO side, which will be in the Mercator team. But I mean, there's some there has to be planned from your side. It's on both. But yes, if you need support for implementation, that's already the case for any project that want to onboard an EDITO, and even more so for the project that answer the grants.
All right, pretty clear. Antonin, if for any reason you have a follow-up question, if it was not entirely clear to you, you may please provide a follow-up. So we have a question also from Frederick asking if the quotes are determined based on each user or in total.
Do you mean the quotas or the quote for the financial support?
I think that maybe Frederick is talking about the quotes that Matisse was speaking about.
Oh, yes. These quotas are per person. So each user are given a set of computational resources that we show the value of. And so it's per user.
All right. Okay. So I think back again to Françoise. Guillaume is asking if it's 40K euros per project.
Yes, and I saw your second comment, Guillaume. Yes, we're saying up to a 15 project will be onboarded for this first call. So it's a minimum of 40K. But that doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be the case, and it's dependent on your the level of need that you do require for implementing your solution and the solution itself. So it doesn't mean that it's necessarily 40K. 60,000 is 600,000, sorry, is for the whole call. shared by all projects for this first call. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that yes, Guillaume has done a little bit of math in the chat, split by 15 projects that we're planning on taking on. I hope it is now clear. And then we have another question again on funding by Christian, asking about double funding. Only applications developed within projects that specifically mention integration with EDITO in the grant agreement should be avoided.
So for the double funding, yes, that's the requirement. And if there's already a Horizon Europe project that is going to onboard this solution into EDITO, then we will not be able to take an application that does exactly the same thing. But that we'll need to assess during the evaluation process. So the main concern that you need to pay attention to is within your grant agreement, is there a disclosure saying that you need within the grant, the funding that you're already getting, that you need to implement your solution to EDITO?
Okay.
If I can just add something quickly, it might be interesting to get in touch with us through the projects forum or through another way. So you can always send us an email if your project plans to onboard EDITO. It's very interesting for us to know because we can also get in touch with you and potentially provide some support depending on what has to be done.
Thank you. Thank you both. All right. So I think that I'm not sure that Françoise, I think that your answer might have covered this, but will it be possible to apply on several calls even if the first proposal is funded?
That's an interesting question. I think it's dependent on the solution that you will propose. If you answer the first call with a solution and the second one with something that is quite similar, it's unlikely that you would be chosen for a second call. So because it needs to be really innovative for each call. If that answers your question. I think Laura wanted to add something.
Yes, Laura.
Yes, please. Hello, everyone. My name is Laura Chadel from Mercator Ocean as well, and I'm here to answer if any questions on more legal, administrative, and funding issues. Regarding the double funding, we're going to include in the administrative file a declaration to be signed by each applicant saying that there is no double funding. So on top of what you've already discussed regarding whether the application is meant to be uploaded into EDITO or not, whether it's planned or not, if your application has nothing to do with EDITO for the moment, you will be asked to sign, this declaration.
All right. Thank you, Laura. I think that this definitely helped in further clarifying since we had a few questions on this. So then we have also a question from Killian. Are existing applications on EDITO, for example, EO guidelines, that are at the demo stage eligible to apply to scale up into an operational service? I don't know if Mathis or Cyril or François, someone from, or any other colleagues that we have actually online from the tech team. So can these existing applications that are already on EDITO also apply to scale up? This is the question. If Laura also you have an answer, or Marina, please. Hello, Marina.
Hello, I think that I can
Ocean.
try. So unless François or
You can take it, Marina. If you
okay,
want.
so just I think there is nothing that prevents this option, and so it's going to be up to your proposition and how it will fit in in EDITO, and what you will propose in concrete as concrete activities for going from what is already existing towards something that is more operational and running. So it is, I mean, to be very clear, what is going to be the added value compared to what is the application today and what is going to be thanks to the work done in this call. But there is nothing preventing a further evolution on an existing application to be eligible for this call.
All right, thank you very, very much, Marina, for this. Again, pretty clear. Does anyone want to add anything to this? Okay, then let's go to the next question from Dan Voice, who are in the early stages of sharing data with EMODNet Physics, but the data sets that they want to onboard to EDITO will be biodiversity. Is it still okay? Wait, sorry. To apply.
But that, if I understand, that means that you wouldn't go through a ModNet bio. Is what I understand, because you can do that. If not, if you don't go through a ModNet and it's not under a development by a ModNet, yes, you can apply for this call.
Okay. Okay. Great. And again, I want to mention it again that we're going to use all these questions to see where there's a lot of interest to make sure that everything is clear when all the information arrives to you. So this is very useful for us as well. All right, from Florian, whether the minimum funding is 40K, 15 projects are accepted, what is the maximum funding? I think that from previous answers, this has been made clear. There are some things really depend. There are a variety of criteria, etc., that need to be looked at, and I think that the funding, the amount of funding, is then going to be decided.
Yes, it will depend on the proposal we received. It might at the end mean that we onboard 3 projects. We're just giving a maximum limit of project that we're looking at. So they don't be stopped by this minimum funding. So yes, it will very much depend on the proposal.
Okay, we have another really good question again. Can we apply with more than one project? Imagine an application and one with data. We have more than 100 sections we would like to share with all of EU partners. So I think, yeah, the question has to do with whether 2 projects and forces apply together.
You mean, so if it's different project that separately are applying? Because imagine if you are working with within a project with different application and data sets, and it's something that is quite extensive, I would suggest that you do one proposal, but a bigger one, rather than to apply through different means. And in this way, it's you can go through a consortia if it's through different projects.
Okay. I think the next question by Florian also is a little bit along those lines. Should the project consider full funding under this call, or is there room request for co-funding?
I think that would be a question for Laura.
Okay. If Laura is still with us.
This I would have to check. Yes, I would have to check that one.
Okay. It's okay. So this is something that we'll make sure to take into account and include such information as well. Let's see. That's another good one. Are commercial applications eligible for funding?
Well, I want to say that the incentive of this call is to share open data application models. The idea is not to commercialize anything, but maybe Laura, if you have an input on this.
Well, again, I would check, but my initial answer would be to agree with you, Françoise. So probably not, but to be checked as well.
All right. Okay. Then we have a question by Niels Holdsworth of ISIS. Hi, Neil. Would the following be eligible? Input data to the model or application. are restricted, but the output and app are CC by. So input data are restricted, but the output and app are CC by. Would that be eligible?
That's really case by case dependent. In your application, you will need to explain why you're under this license, and that there still need to be an interest in sharing within a community, even if it's restrictive. You will need to disclose that in the application. You can still apply, but we will have to discuss to see if it can be onboarded onto EDITO.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Neil, again, if this is not clear, and for everyone else as well, you may, of course, write a follow-up question. So I think, again, a question for Françoise and Laura. It has to do with whether you can confirm at this stage whether the funding is a lump sum or they will have to provide financial and timesheet reports.
So I can confirm already that it will be lump sums, but we will be listing in the financial documents costs which are eligible or not. So it will be close to costs that are generally acceptable for a Horizon Europe type of project. We're looking at time, timesheets, yes, personnel costs, travel costs, other supplies if needed, but none of the normal exceptions should be included, and so on. We will also we won't ask for audits, but we will have to put a certain number of conditions in the financial documents. So, but they will be lump sums, yes.
All right. Thank you, Laura. Thank you very much. And I think, again, probably Laura, do we already have the information about what will be the funding for calls number 2 and number 3? One coming out in autumn and the one next year.
Well, I might let Françoise answer that one, actually.
Yes,
If you know already, I don't know.
well, what we have planned for now is 700,000 per call for the remaining 2. But I advise for you to wait for more confirmation. This might change a little, but that's the information we have so far.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Then we have another question from Dan that I suppose applies to absolutely everyone as well. If they apply and they are unsuccessful, will they get feedback that they can use, and can they apply again for the next call?
Yes, absolutely. That's really what we're planning to do, especially because we really welcome everyone to apply, even if it's not for this first one, but the second 2. So yes, we will give you feedback.
Okay, all right. Well, we have, I suppose also, yes, when will the funds be paid? I suppose that has to do with the process, François.
Actually, I think Laura can answer this one.
If I remember correctly, I think we are considering upfront payment of excuse me, I don't have the document in front of me, but of say 30-40%, and then halfway through, and then at the end, at the last or the final report. So partial payments throughout.
Okay, all right. Pretty clear. So thank you. Then moving on to another question from Gabriel. Where an entity applies to implement a project outside the European geographic zone, is there a requirement to collaborate with non-European institutions at the application stage?
No, this is not a requirement.
Okay. That was a short and sweet reply. Let's see. I don't know if I have missed any questions. Okay. We have a question from Janice on where to find the list of eligible countries. Will the federally funding research institute in Brazil be eligible?
So there's a list of countries. If you look at Horizon Europe associated countries that you can find online, I will try to find a link now to share in the chat.
Great.
I'm not sure that Brazil is in the list. You will need to check that.
Let's see. Okay. We do still have time to take a few more questions. So if there is anything. All right, yeah. Here's one from Godaland. Do criteria of evaluation consider geographical distribution across EU and possibly globally, or is this not considered? Thank you, Francois. So do the evaluation criteria consider also geographical distribution across EU and possibly globally? So I'm assuming, maybe correct me if for any reason I am wrong, Godeland, but I think you're asking if there needs to be, so if too many projects from one specific geographical area apply, or whether we would like to spread that out, and whether this is a criteria.
So yeah, no, that's not a restrictive criteria. It really depends on the solution you're offering. So you might be we might have a lot of project within one area. Of course, it's always best if we can have project operating in different areas. But if you do a very different application that are focused in one, it doesn't prevent you from being part of this core. Absolutely not. Ideally, yes, we want to extend the geographical representation, but it's not restrictive.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. If for now we do not have any more questions, then we will move on a little bit because at the next steps we do have also some really interesting information that's going to be very relevant. Okay, I see one more question. From Frederick. If several models are coupled, can the default quota be increased? Are there any preconditions on the front end, and how is this integrated in the EDITO platform?
So I can answer that. So regarding the first question, the default quotas, we can increase them in a case by case for user. But if your models, for example, require 64 gigabyte of RAM, it means that most users won't be able to launch it. So it lost a bit of its interest. So try as much as possible to keep it in the limit for it to benefit the most people. And regarding precondition on the front end, there isn't. We are able to host any web app very easily. So yeah, if you already have a web app, it should be easily integrated into EDITO. So
All right.
yeah.
Thank you very much, Mathis. Now we have a couple of questions that I think were indeed covered, but in case our participants missed it. So the application does open tomorrow, and what the deadline is for submission. I believe Francois covered this, so I'll let you answer.
Yes, so I will show you again the next slide, but to remind you, so the call will be open tomorrow and open for 2 months for you to prepare your application, send your application. So up until the end of March.
All right. Okay. Thank you. And then about the reporting again, you spoke on this. What about the reporting? Is there only a final report due after the 10 months?
Yes, so there will first obviously be a kickoff that will need to be prepared by the project team. There will be two progress reports during the project, one at month number 4 and one at month number 8, and one final report. This is the deliverables that are planned.
All right. Okay, very nice. So we might still get more questions, I think. But we can already go to the next steps that Françoise is going to present. And please remember, we are recording this webinar. We're going to be sharing it in the coming days quite soon. So you can always come back for any clarifications that you might want, and a lot more information is going to follow. We will also add, once again, the website link to EDITO, as well as the newsletter link. We will mention this again at the very, very end, but if you join our newsletter, you will always stay up to date as we use we use our database for community building. So please join the newsletter, follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on social media, and visit the website often. So Françoise, I'm going to go into the wrap up and the next steps, and I'm again giving over the floor to you.
Yes, thank you, Angeliki. Yes, so once again, a little reminder of what to look for now is the launch of the call, obviously, that will be happening tomorrow. As I mentioned, it will be open for 2 months, so you have until the end of March to submit your application. Then there's the evaluation period until the end of May, when we will then be delivering the results to all applicants, whether it's positive or maybe needs to be reaffirmed for the next upcoming calls. And the start of the project is in June this year. If you have more question after this information session, you can send your question to grants@mercatorocean.fr. But if you have any related question to EDITO that are not specific to the grant, please continue to go through the support of EDITO via the email that Mathis shared before, support@edito.eu. And one more information, and next slide, please. For things to look for now in the coming days, I advise you to register, if you're not already registered, to the newsletter of EDITO to get more information of the launch of the EDITO Project Forum. This is not restricted to the projects that answer the grant call. So you might anyway be willing to be part of the community of projects that want to share their progress between each other and the EDITO team. So stay tuned for more information in the newsletter of EDITO. And
Thank you. And so as we have shared the links just now, both to the EDITO platform and to the EDITO website. Again, this is where you're going to be able also to see a lot of information and subscribe to the newsletter. Let's just see if we have any final questions. I see not. The project forum is another quite exciting development that we think is going to be a great instrument for the community building part. I don't know if if Françoise, you would like to add something on this, or if any other colleague that is online would like to say a few final words. So, okay, if not, but we still have around 15 minutes. But again, if there are no more questions, then okay,
I just see one question from Gotelen that was asking if basically the 15 selected projects to cover all as many basins as possible. It's not necessarily the case because you might not be offering a solution that it has a geographical limitation. It can be a model. So the model might be applicable to different basins. So it's don't get stuck on the geographical consideration. We're really here to share any solution, whether they're centered on the basin or can be applicable for a different application.
Okay. Thank you. I think that further clarifies the Dylan's question. Indeed. Okay. So in this case, I think that we're going to leave it at that. I'd like to thank all of our panelists for joining us and sharing all this information. Thank you so much. Françoise, Martine, Mathis, and Cyrielle, thank you. Thank you also to all the participants for joining. We hope that you found this first session useful. We are available to answer any questions. Again, when you visit the website or the EDITO platform, you will find that there are multiple ways of connecting with us, of asking a question, etc. We're quite good at replying quickly. So we look forward to hearing from you. We are going to be sharing a lot of information in the coming days, so please stay tuned. And this is it. Once again, thank you and see you soon. See you at the next one.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. See you soon.
Thank you for joining.
Thank
We're
you.
looking forward to your applications.
All right. Okay. Bye, everyone. Thank you.